So here's round 2, trying to get my brakes and rotors replaced. It's a hot day, probably going to get a sunburn, just kind of get used to the idea. It's also very muggy and wet. So I need to pull the tire. I borrowed a 3-ton jack from my next door neighbor and friend. Pump this up, pop tire off, and I had to buy some tools. Which is what caused me to stop. For some reason the calipers are held on by a T-socket, a T55, which is not a very common socket. And apparently, you know, it's Chevy. You can't make anything easier. You just gotta make it more difficult. So, I'll get started on that. Alright, so this is my caliper, which is all rusty and yucky looking. It looks like it was sprayed with the rust stop paint. You can get bolts on this side. I don't think I can get you to see that side of it. I'll try. So it's a Star, it's a big one, T55 drive. And I gotta pop that off. There's one top and bottom. Let's see if I can put you somewhere where you can see it. Ooh! Oh! Alright. Got the brakes off. Actually, plenty of meat on it, except it's pitted, grooved because of just how bad the rotor is. There's that. Now, in theory, this rotor should just pop off. Oh, and that was easy. I don't want grease on this, and it's been packed in grease. So, time to try and put this back together. Okay, now it's time for the brake pads. Okay, so here's the old brake pad. There's the new, give you an idea of the wear. Oh, now, I pulled this all off and it didn't have any springs to hold it in, which I'm wondering if they're any good. but I have all of these, and they're supposed to snap onto here. Top and bottom. Let's see if that's actually going to work for me. Alright, so putting my brake pads back on and my calipers back on. Most of the mechanics that I watched on YouTube wanted me to bleed the brake line, which I don't want to do. I've never done that before. I've replaced brakes before, and all I've usually done was take the top off of my hydraulic reservoir, so if it pressures too much, it'll come out the top there. And seen tools for depressing the calipers, and I just use a C-clamp because I have one, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Oh, got these on, so here's my caliper. And it's got two. Usually I've only worked with trucks and cars that have only one, but there's two, and so I will use a C-clamp to compress those to get them back on. We'll see how that works. Alright, hopefully that's compressed enough. The brakes, and it did. So I'm just putting these bolts back on with my T55 drive. It cost me $30 for the whole set. Yay! But I have them now. Tighten them up pretty good. I don't want these to fall out. I don't have the... Alright, so they're on. I don't have to... I just have to put the tire on, and this is done. And I just have to do the same thing to the other side. Alright, so my brakes have been replaced, or at least my front have. I still have brakes for the rear, and the parking brakes still don't work very well. You gotta look at those. But taking it for a test drive, checking my brakes. No rattling around because they were quite warped, and brakes to hold the car and shimmy. It feels really good right now. I think it's time for a shower.